So let's go ahead and talk about the differentiation between microeconomics and macroeconomics. Why do we need to force you guys to take two different classes on a subject that seems very, very similar to one another? So here with microeconomics, it's a study of decision making by individuals, businesses, and industries. So as the name implies, micro right here, we're going to be focusing in on the smaller unit of the economy. It's taking a look at individuals, so people like you and I. It's taking a look at a few businesses, so Apple, GM, Amazon, eBay, Walmart, Target. And it's only going to be taking a look at a few industries. So in terms of microeconomics, we're going to be focusing in on the smaller component of the economy. It's a smaller subset of the entire country, of the entire economy itself. In microeconomics, this is where a lot of sort of weird things pop up, where we talk about market structures like oligopoly, monopoly, perfect competition. We focus in on a little bit of finance as well. But here with microeconomics, we just want to go ahead and focus in on the smaller unit, like the name implies, micro right here. So a few examples of things that you might focus in on microeconomics, we can go ahead and take a look at a few examples of these. So with microeconomics examples. So as you just saw on that slide right there, we're going to be focusing in on the smaller unit. So what would be an example of something that you could study in microeconomics? Well, how about where you get your coffee? Where to buy coffee? So suppose that you need your cafecito sort of fix, and you decide where to go to buy coffee. So you can go, you have a lot of choices. So you can go to Sergio's, you can go to Versailles, you can go to Cafe Bustelo, Cafe Vicky. There's a lot of different places for you to go get your coffee. And why is this going to be considered under microeconomics? Well, it's only focusing in on you as an individual. So here, anytime it deals with you as an individual, that's going to be a microeconomics decision. So that's where you're going to focus in on consumer behavior, and that's going to be solely focused in on this particular subject. Another example of microeconomics, we can go ahead and take a look at Apple. So Apple, the company. So how about Apple choosing to remove the headphone jack, from their phones. So here, why would this be considered to be a microeconomics example? Even though Apple is a very huge company, has tons of revenues and tons of profits, they are only one company out of the entire tech industry, or in the, say, phone industry in this sort of realm. So therefore, because it's only one particular company, it is going to be seen as a microeconomics decision. So here with microeconomics, once again, we're focusing in on one smaller subset. Even if we build this up all the way to the tech industry itself, the tech industry is only one industry out of the entire the entirety of all the industries in the entire country, in the entire world. So therefore, that would still be seen as a microeconomics decision. We're only going to be focusing in on a few individuals, a few corporations, a few industries, not everybody at the same exact time. So when that's going to be the case, we automatically see that's going to be a microeconomics type of thing that we can go ahead and study in that particular subject. How about in macroeconomics? So macroeconomics is a study of the broader issues in the economy, such as inflation, unemployment, and national output. So macro right here, the name implies that you should be focusing in on the wider scope of the economy. So the broader issues, things that are going to be affecting everybody. So if we add up all the individuals, all the businesses, all the industries within the entire economy or entire country, we immediately see it's going to be focused in on macroeconomics. So things like inflation, unemployment, GDP, the gross domestic product, that is all going to affect everybody within the entire country. So here, this is going to be the main focus of with us in this particular class, where we focus in on things where it's going to be affecting everybody in the entire country. Other things that we can focus in on macroeconomics, these are things that typically the government is going to be focused in on as well. It's things that you focus in on the news a lot, you hear a lot about on the news stories. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few more examples of macroeconomics. Macroeconomics examples. So right here, as the name implies, macro means bigger. So when we add up all the individuals, all the firms and corporations, all the industries, we get macroeconomics. So we can take a look at things like interest rates. Interest rates. There are a whole bunch of different interest rates in the economy. How do interest rates affect the way that we consume and save our money? So here, interest rates, they do affect everybody in the entire country. Things such as monetary and fiscal policy. So monetary slash fiscal policy. And these are things what the government and the central bank of the United States can do in order to influence the economy. With fiscal policy, that's where the government spending, taxes come into play. With monetary policy, that's where the Federal Reserve or the central bank comes into play. So what policies can they enact in order to influence the entire company? The entire sort of country. And with all of this is going to be impacting all of the people within the country, say the United States in this example. Same thing with GDP, inflation, unemployment. These are all things that are going to be seen in macroeconomics, and we'll take a look at all of these sort of bigger sort of subjects, these bigger concepts as we move throughout the rest of the semester. So with all of this, we can go ahead, give you a few more examples of macro and microeconomics. So deciding the newest games and technology to introduce the market to the market is a microeconomic decision made by firms. So once again, we're just focusing in on a few firms and corporations themselves. So Microsoft, EA, we can take a look at Activision, Sony, Nintendo. Any type of decision that they are going to sort of go ahead and conduct is going to be dealt with a microeconomics type of scope because it's only focusing in on these particular corporations. However, if we build things up just a little bit more, such as fiscal policy, where we take a look at the Federal Reserve, Congress, the president, this is where we focus in on with macroeconomics. So a lot of the things that deal with the government themselves, that's where we see macroeconomics. And this is probably the more sort of famous branch of economics because we do see this a lot more on the news stories, and we do see the sort of the impacts just a little bit more. So here, take a look at these next two questions. Try to answer them yourselves before I give you the answer with this, and you tell me whether or not these are going to be seen as micro or macroeconomic type of subjects. Lawmakers are discussing how to keep unemployment from rising in the coming year. Is this micro or macro? The key phrase that you want to focus in on right here is unemployment, and unemployment, as we just saw, is going to be affecting everybody within the entire country. So here, this is going to be a macroeconomic type of question. So therefore, anytime you see unemployment, this is something that we're going to see within this sort of course as well. This is going to be focused in on the broader scope, the wider scope, which is macroeconomics. Second question, is the following a macro or microeconomic issue? Executives at GM are discussing whether raising prices will lead to higher profits. Even though GM is a very, very large corporation, very huge car manufacturer, it is still only one corporation in the entirety of the automobile industry. So therefore, this is going to be seen as a microeconomic issue right here. So here, GM, any type of decision or business strategy that they want to enact is going to be dealt with a microeconomic scope. So therefore, this is going to be dealt with microeconomics. So here, you should have a better idea of the differentiation between macro and microeconomics. I'll also give you a few examples of each. And we want to go ahead and take a look at the similarities of both of these subjects, and we'll get to that in our next lecture.